And welcome back to Daily Wrap. It's potluck time. This is the part of the show where we go around the table and share our favorite stories of the day. And if you go first, you have to be dressed like Ally McBeal. And Heather wins and gets the 90s reference in the process. Good stuff, Callista. Go ahead.
Tomorrow, the penalty phase of the trial of the Boston Marathon starts. And so a lot of people will be watching this and talking about it. On Friday in the Boston Globe, the parents of Martin Richard, the young boy who died in the Boston Marathon bombing, put out an op-ed saying, and the title was "To End the Anguish, Drop the Death Penalty." And they spoke for the idea that they would like to see him agree to life without parole in exchange for no appeals. So the family, that's Martin Richard right there. So the family doesn't have to deal with this. They have 2 other children who they don't want to have to live the rest of their lives dealing with the appeals. And it was extremely touching, and it caused a lot of talk. And then today, another couple, Patrick Downs and Jessica Kensky, who both lost limbs, they're newlyweds, but both lost limbs in the Boston bombing, also came forward and said the same thing. And so a lot of people, it's this discussion about whether or not the jury will hear this, should it impact them, how much should it impact them? The truth is, it's not part of the case. The jury will not hear it, they should not hear it. The mitigating factors that a jury should listen to have to do with Tsarnaev himself and what he is all about, and what he, whether he has emotional issues, whether he did this under duress. There's a number of specific mitigating factors, his age, these types of things. But the idea that these victim families came forward with this and said this certainly will impact the community. It impacts people's idea about it. If the jury actually did hear about this, and this is an interesting point for all those who argued for the defense side that they should have changed venue because people in Boston are too attached. People in Boston are more likely to see the Boston Globe cover, which says that this is what they want. And so there's an argument on both sides. But it really does impact the conversation around it, even if it doesn't impact the jury.
It just changed my mind, literally on the air, what you just said. I thought he should get life in prison because I thought death was too easy a way out for a guy who places a knapsack next to an 8-year-old kid knowing that it's going to kill him. Yep. So while I go back and forth on the death penalty, here I thought that life in prison, and you put him somewhere like Shawshank where, you know, he's going to have a miserable existence thanks to other prisoners, and I'd rather have that, make him suffer for an extended period of time than just dying quickly and that's it. Right. But all that said, the fact that they don't want other members of the family to be exposed to the appeals for the rest of their lives makes complete sense to me. So you've just changed my mind literally in 3 minutes.
But the other problem is there are
those appeals if they're going to put you to death.
But right. There are other victims who do want him to be put to death, which is part of the reason why in the judicial system that bias is not supposed to be part of the equation. It sometimes does get in if jurors hear about it, and they may question why Martin Richard's parents aren't there, but
unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, polls in Massachusetts, the majority say they don't want him put to death.
That's right.
So we have to end it there, unfortunately, Mr. Hirschfield.
Okay, so I bring you Martin O'Malley, former governor. Is right. I get it. There is clear evidence that we have incumbent fatigue in this country, and the idea of all Hillary all the time is not the way even most Democrats and independents seem to want to go. But what's unbelievable to me is this guy is serving up the same old you-know-what once again as an alternative. And that's what's unbelievable. Listen to this quote when he was on National Public Radio. Right, the Republican Party is doubling down on this trickle-down theory that says, thou shalt concentrate wealth at the very top. Thou shalt remove regulation from wherever you find it, even Wall Street. And thou shalt keep wages low for American workers so we can be more competitive. We have a different theory. Our theory as Democrats is the longer arc of our story as Americans, that we believe in a stronger middle class that can actually cause economic growth. Really? That's only the domain of the Democratic Party? I mean, it's unbelievable. This guy has no shot at actually offering a real alternative to anyone except a small group of puritanical left-wing members of the Democratic Party. So now they're going to have to decide, do they want to win or do they want to make a difference? I mean, it's unbelievable. One path, he says, is sensible rebalancing that calls us back to our tried and true success story as the land of opportunity. The other is pitchforks. So tell me, who's speaking? If you don't know, that's Martin O'Malley. Because you could hear those exact same things out of members of the far right wing of the Republican Party. It turns out we're going to keep having incumbent fatigue and politics fatigue if we don't have candidates who are willing to serve up something fresh. The idea of who has the pitchforks, I could make a perfectly good case that, really, Governor? The pitchforks belong to the Democratic Party, not the Republican Party. So who's who? You tell me.
Rick, he's looking right at you.
That was an awesome rant. I liked it. Let's go. Look, I mean, I am no big Martin O'Malley fan. I think we all know that. Well, I'm not going to say how I've described him, but I was a little less offended by his remarks than you are. I take your point. I know what you're going after there. Yeah, you could make that same claim from the far left. Look, he's looking for anything that will get anybody to pay attention to him and take him seriously. I got bad news for the governor. It ain't going to happen. He's not the one who's going to challenge Hillary.
Not that way.
Quick final word, Heather.
Don't you think he's also looking for the Elizabeth Warren?
Yeah, and he's not going to get
sure.
it.
Well, could be a vice presidential candidate because
No,
God
yeah,
knows
she-
there's
Who
very
else
few
is
out
gonna
there.
open it?
Anyway, we have to take a quick break. When we come back, we have even more potluck for you, including Rick's and mine. This is the Daily Wrap, only on Newsmax TV.